Muslims. Well, joining me in the studio is Jonathan Gabay, a branding expert at Brand Forensics, and from our Washington studio is Stephanie Barclay, an attorney from the Becket Fund, a religious freedom group which has filed a court brief supporting this action. Just explain what happened. This potential employee, went to the store wearing a hijab and was then told to remove it, or did it not get that far?
So this is a case about blatant discrimination, the type of which our civil rights laws were meant to protect. And Samantha is a talented fashion blogger who applied for a job with Abercrombie. She wears a headscarf as a representation and reminder of her faith. And when she was interviewed for the job and she was scored, the assistant manager thought that she would be a good candidate for the position and gave her a score high enough that normally she would have been hired for the position. But after speaking with the district manager, who said that they didn't want to accommodate her, even though her headscarf was probably worn for religious reasons, they went back and changed the sheet that she was scored on and lowered her score so that they wouldn't have to hire her.
All right, it's just that Abercrombie has just put out this statement now saying this happened in 2008, and it's a long-standing commitment to diversity and inclusion and consistency with the law, has granted numerous religious accommodations when requested, including hijabs. The narrow issue, the statement goes on to say, before the Supreme Court, is whether the employee who wants a religious accommodation must ask for one, or whether employers are obligated to guess and speculate about an employee's religion to ascertain the need for religious accommodation. I mean, it does seem very narrow, according to the legal case before the Supreme Court.
I think the issue is a little bit different. The issue is whether or not employers can assume that people who come in aren't religious, and even if the employer has good reason to believe and suspects that a headscarf, for example, is being worn for religious reasons, can they go ahead and basically play dumb and discriminate anyway so that they don't have to accommodate someone? We would never allow that type of discrimination for another type of protected category. We wouldn't allow an employer, for example, to say, this person looks like they might have a disability, I'm not sure, so I'm just going to go ahead and discriminate to be safe so that I don't have to accommodate. We also have to ask the question, who's in the better position to know Abercrombie's policy? Samantha had asked a friend whether or not it would be okay to wear hats, and her friend said, I know that they've allowed, for example, Jewish people to wear a yarmulke before, and so from Samantha's point of view, there was not necessarily a reason to explicitly ask the question. It was Abercrombie who knew what their policy was.
Jonathan Gabay, I mean, how do you think Abercrombie and Fitch have handled this?
Well, I think it's been a very difficult one, because I tell you why it's been so difficult in their case, because they have always been very stringent in terms of their brand persona and in terms of the way that they convey their brand to the general public. Now, whether I agree with the way that they do it or not is quite irrelevant. It's just that has always been the way.
Yeah,
and in fact,
could it not accommodate, though, something like a hijab or other forms of headscarves or whatever your religious associations are, and be made trendy and incorporated into the brand like that as well?
Oh, absolutely. I think they're missing a huge opportunity here, because why don't they have Abercrombie and Fitch hijabs? Why not? I mean, there's no reason why not. It's a huge market. So you are alienating part of the market. But from a brand psychology point of view, it's particularly interesting, because people buy as if they're members of a tribe, not a religious thing or culture, but just a tribe. And so when you have a brand that's saying, this is our, if you want, tribal, in inverted commas, values, yeah, that's why you buy from us. And then you have other people say, well, actually, we're going to break those values, and then you lose your customers.
Stephanie, where do you see this one going? I mean, how quickly are we going to get a ruling, and how important do you think is it for other industries?
Well, we think that the court is going to be pretty sympathetic to Samantha's plight and to recognize that employees should be able to bring their religious expression into the workplace, and that employers shouldn't be able to blatantly discriminate. It's unclear how quickly we'll get a ruling. If this is a case where, as we're hopeful, the justices are able to unite, then we'll probably see a ruling more quickly. This is incredibly important as far as other employers and other religions, because Christians wear a crucifix. We have Jews who wear yarmulkes. We have all kinds of religions who bring emblems into the workplace, and this can affect whether or not employers are able to blatantly discriminate against them, play dumb, even when they think very likely that it's done for religious purposes.
Just a brief thought.
A brief thought, and that is, in this particular case of this brand, they even have strict regulations on nail varnish and even what kind of hairstyle you should wear.
Okay, I just have a final question for you, Stephanie. Where's she working now? Where's Samantha working?
She has her own fashion blog, and I'm not sure what other pursuits Samantha is pursuing beyond that.
All right, okay. Thank you very much, Stephanie Barclay and Jonathan Gabay here in the studio.